Hey guys, and welcome back to another one of my videos. This one will be a little bit different. I cannot guarantee I will keep making these videos, but as of now, I really think that this one should be put out there because I have not seen a lot of videos touch up on this. I have not seen a lot, like I did not know anything about this. I still don't. I know nothing about this stuff, so I hope you guys don't get mad if I say something wrong, but these are the settings that work the best for me, and I have spent over hours, over days now, in just trying to figure out what the fuck's wrong with the pixelation blurry issue in Arma 3 once I upload it to YouTube. Well, turns out it cannot be fixed. There's always going to be blurry and pixelation in Arma 3 videos. Everybody on YouTube, I don't know if you've seen them or not, but everybody on YouTube has a pixelation blurry issue of Arma 3 once uploaded to YouTube, because YouTube just compresses the shit out of it. So I hope you guys find this video very interesting, and I hope you also find it very super informative, because right now what I'm about to tell you works really well for me, and I hope it works really well for you too. So let's get right into this. Okay guys, now the next thing I want to show you is my video recording software. Now, DXtory is my favorite recording software, at least for Arma 3. I have OBS Studio, and I also have the GeForce Experience, which is also known as NVIDIA Shadowplay. Both very super awesome recording softwares, and they're both free too. You get NVIDIA Shadowplay as long as you have an NVIDIA card, and it has to be past a certain specification of card as well. And then the OBS Studio is free, and I'll actually leave a link in the description below if you want to get that yourself. But DXtory is what I'll be using. Okay, first we have here is Target. Now I'm not sure exactly what this is, and I know you don't have to mess with it, so let's move on. Okay, now the next thing is overlay. Let's see here. Overlay is not really particularly important. It's not actually at all, but there is some things in here that you might want to do to customize your DXtory. Now this is if you use DXtory. I'm just going to go through these settings with you guys so you guys will know. But DXtory here, you have a record status, you have video FPS, and you can show all this stuff on your screen, and you can put it where you like. As you can see right here, I'm moving it all around to wherever I like, or you can even change the colors of like what you want to record, what is recording and what color is not recording, and shit like that. It's really interesting. Okay, moving on. Okay, now we're in folder. We can go to add folder here, and what you're basically going to want to do is you're going to want to pick what hard drive you want to record on. I have two hard drives, like I said, so right now I'm recording on my F, which is my HHD, I believe it is, and then my other one is my SSD, but I use that for like putting games and stuff on. So we'll be using the F today, but since I already have the F here, we're going to go to this PC, and I am going to go to my local disk C. We'll just select this and press OK, and you see my local disk C now is here. Now this is my SSD on the bottom here, this is my HHD on the top here, and I believe it's HHD, I don't know. But what you want to do after this is you want to benchmark, and what benchmarking is going to do is it's going to tell you how fast your drive will write. So let's run this and see what I get. Okay, so mine is like really super high, but it's an SSD. It writes at 474. That is like extremely high. I'm pretty sure that's pretty fucking high, because my HHD or whatever is only 145 megabits per second write speed, while this one 474. So that's a pretty big difference. I won't be using mine. You guys might be using an SSD. So what I'm going to do is just remove this from my folder. Okay, so the next thing is hotkey, and this is pretty straightforward. You guys should know how to do this. Start and stop movie capture. I have mine set to none plus. I just like that a lot. And then push to talk, I do not have that set up. Execute single screenshot, I do have that set up, but I think that's by default. I never actually messed with this, and that is really super cool that you can do a screenshot, but I'm not interested. So if you guys want to take your time and go through this, go ahead. Here's movie, and this one's very super duper important. You want to use your default setting here, and then here we got some codecs. You'll start off with the DXtory video codec. Now this video codec I wouldn't recommend using. I'd recommend using another one. Let's see here. We have X264. We want to go into show configuration dialog box of the codec. Right here our preset will be set to ultra fast, tuning will be none, profile will be auto, level auto, fast decode and zero latency will both be checked. That's very important. Convert to YUV420, and then single pass rate factor based CRF. Now depending upon your rate of your hard drive, how fast it can speed, mine isn't so good because it's not an SSD, so I have to set mine to 18.0. Now depending upon your resolution, this will also affect it, and Mine's set to 18.0. You guys might have a better one. You guys might have a lower one. Basically, the further you go over to the left, which is less, is higher quality, and then the further you go over to the right, which is more, is less quality, if that makes any sense. As you can see here, at 1.0 is high quality, and then the low quality is 51.0. Okay, and now you guys can just kind of copy down everything on here. This down below here, the -KEYINT space 1 is something that will help you in DXtory or X264 run better, and just DXtory in general, it will help it run better. So make sure to put this command in down below and just press OK. I'll actually puff that up for you guys so you can see it. My frame rate is 30, and the reason why this is because my computer likes 30 and no more. It likes no more and it likes no less. 20 looks like shit, nobody likes 20. 30 is decent, 60 is really nice, and 120, that is fucking outrageous. But 30 is what my computer likes, and that's what I use. Your key frame rate here is 15, quality 100, data rate 0, file output selected, and you want the file format as an AVI. Clipping, don't mess with any of this stuff on this whole left hand portion. And then what you'll want to do is you'll want to come over here, and your size will depend upon what resolution you're recording at. I'm recording at 1440p for YouTube because upscaling is the very best, I think, for getting the best Arma 3 quality that you can possibly get. The reason why that is because YouTube compresses the shit out of your files, and it allows you to be able to use more bitrate if you upscale and say a 2560 1440 format compared to like a 1080p 1920 1080p, because I think YouTube's data rates or something, you get like 8,000 bit rate or something like that, 8 million bit rate for a 1080p, and then you get like 16 million bit rate for a 2560 by 1440. So I hope you guys understand what I mean by there, and I hope you guys use these settings because they really work for me. And then we'll go to percent here, and we want this to be 100%, no less. I think that there are some times that you can go 75%, but I'm not sure exactly when this happens and when you should do it. 100% works fine for me, always has, and it will continue to work great for me, I think. So let's go over to our audio. Before I go to audio, just down here you can see video settings, and in video settings this is very super important. You can see we got different kinds of outputs here. Our resolution here, we can select a lot of different presets, 2560 by 1600, a lot of different presets here, and I just typed mine in, and the width is 2560 and my height is 1440. Now if you were going 1080p, you'd want the 1920 here as the width and the 1080p here is the height. And then you want to also make sure you have this frame rate selected here as the same as in your movie here. Is right here is 30 and I have 30, so if you wanted 60 FPS, you'd want 60 here and 60 here. Okay, the next thing is audio. Now, I really love the audio in DXtory. Now, the reason why this is, and you may ask me why, is why do you like DXtory so much? Because of the audio. Well, it's because it actually allows for split track recording. I can record my voice and my in-game audio differently, separately from each other, and I can edit them, and it's really super nice. It's just something really convenient to have. And the way you'll do this is you'll start with generally one track, and then you can add another one by pressing this green little plus here, and you'll get a third one. Well, I got a third one. You'll get a second one. And you'll set your first one up to the Realtek Digital Output Optical. Well, you might not have this. You might have something different, but you want to find what you are using for your computer sound. I will delete the third one because I don't need a third audio channel. I believe you can actually set up like TeamSpeak channels and stuff like that. That could be pretty badass, but I have never done it. And you'll want to go down here and find which hertz is best for your Realtek Digital Output Optical or whatever you're using for sound. And the way you find this out is you go over here to your Realtek Digital Output or your sound record, you right click on this, and then you go to recording devices, or should I say playback devices, and then you want to scroll all the way down until you find what you're using. I'm using the Realtek Digital Output, like I've said a million fucking times already, and you'll want to right click on that, go to properties, go to advanced, and then you'll get a 2-channel 16-bit 48,000 hertz. And this is how you can tell that you're using 48,000 hertz with your in-game audio. So I'll select 48,000 hertz here, 16-bit mono, and then we'll go over to our second one and we'll find what microphone we're going to be using. I'm personally using the headset microphone Astro Mixamp Pro Voice. The volume probably should be down to about 80% because you don't want any sort of like audio clipping. So I'd recommend 80. Right now I'm just going to go 100. I don't really care. Actually, no, I'll go down to 80. Fuck it. I don't know why the hell I'd go to 100 anyways. That'd be just a waste of time. But anyways, headset microphone Astro Mixamp Pro Voice, and you'll find it the same exact way. You'll right click on this and you'll go to your recording devices, over to your recording, and then you want to right click on this, properties, advanced, and you can see here one channel, 16-bit, 48,000 hertz. So that is how you find your hertz for your headset. Next is screenshot. Now I haven't messed around with this too much, and I would definitely think about going and learning more about this on the internet if you guys want to learn more about screenshots. I don't think it's too complicated. You can see here there's not much to it. You get the JPEG quality. I imagine that just buffs up the quality, makes it look a lot nicer, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward, I think. Next is advanced, and there's not too many things you need to do in here. I don't actually have anything enabled in here. It's just all set to default. One thing I do have is the processing threads, and I have 8 threads on my CPU. Now each person's CPU is going to differ. It completely depends upon how strong it is, and you'll want to use all your processing threads because this is going to allow you to be able to record with a lot more beef, if you know what I mean. You can record like big like 60 FPS and shit like that. You just want processing threads as much as you want because you want to use all of the CPU as you can, and just find that by looking up your CPU. Okay, we're getting down to bare bones here, and we don't really do anything with this. You can do stuff with it if you want. I have check updates on. I probably shouldn't have that on. I really don't care about an update. And then show task tray icon. You can do any of this stuff. It's just personal preference. And then the information, you can probably get some decent information from somewhere. Environment information, I don't know what that goes for, but you can see all the different, yeah, that's over my head. I'm not getting into that. Anyways, now, okay, so I figured I'd bring you guys in game. I'm not going to be showing you what it looks like when I run around because this actually isn't DXtory I'm using. I'm just using OBS right now because it's easier for me to use screen capture. But right now I want to show you something that's going to help you guys a lot. It helped me a lot. Is sharpen filter. Turn that shit off. It is set at 100, and I wish I could show you what it does, but basically it adds a lot more pixelation, at least on my end. If I turn that off, I find out there's a lot less pixelation, but you can see that things get a lot less sharp because that's what it's doing. There's no sharpen filter, and you can see that it's a lot more blurry, but trust me, that blurry is a lot more nice to look at than a whole bunch of pixelation in your video, which the sharpen filter will give you. At least it gives me. I just want to tell you guys that because I figured this may be a little tip for you guys in case you were still experiencing a lot of pixelation. So make sure to turn that off completely, and then if you guys want to change these settings are all pretty good. For my rig, which I have an i7 4790K with a GTX 770, if you guys were wondering. ATOC is all trees plus grass, but the thing about it is if you render with all trees plus grass, then you are taking up a lot of FPS on your system. So I would really recommend going all trees instead. It still looks really super good. And then let's do all trees plus grass. You see, like, it barely does anything, but there's actually a big impact on performance there. It can also make your game stutter a lot. So just do all trees. I just thought I'd tell you guys this because, I mean, it's an extra step that does help with the pixelation. Okay, so this is the cream of the crop. This is what's going to make your video look the best once uploaded to YouTube. We want to go to File, New. This is going to be our project settings. We want our width at 1920, our height at 1080. Now I will be doing the 2560 by 1440 also just to show you guys what it's going to be like and what it's going to look like so you guys can kind of get an idea, because that's my favorite one to render in. So stereoscopic 3D will be off. Frame rate will be 30, and then also you can switch between the 60 here if you want to, or the whatever you want here you can do. So I'm going to do 30. 32-bit floating point full range. Now this is actually the 32-bit floating point full range. I've heard it actually has better colors, and it does too, but it's like almost hardly noticeable. So from my experience, yeah, it does work great, and it is going to probably add a little bit more to your file size, but it could mean a little bit of extra quality difference too. So composting gamma, you'll want to go down here, and generally this is set to linear, but you want this on 2.222 because this is gonna go in effect with the 32-bit floating point. View transformation or view transform, we want to set to off. Full rendering quality will be set to best no matter what. Don't go anywhere below that. Always set to best because we want the high quality videos. Motion blur type will be Gaussian. This is pretty much the basic motion blur type. You can use other ones, but I wouldn't really recommend it unless you really know what you're doing. I know that the box one can be kind of good sometimes, especially in games like Arma 3. The box one can help, but we're going to use Gaussian just because it's so common. And then the deanalyze method will be none. No, it will not be none. We'll be going with blend fields. Blend fields will help us, or help you guys that render in 1920 and 1080. So we'll want to start all new projects with these settings, and this will allow you to start every single new project when you open Sony Vegas, and it will save there for you. So you'll want to go up here to your template and rename this anything you want. I'm just going to go 1920 by 1080 killer res, I don't know. And then you'd hit this right here, save template. I'm not going to because I've got quite a few more already saved. So we'll hit OK. And then now we need to import a video. Always make sure to import it and then go to media. And then let's find a video here. Throw this one in here. Okay, so now we have our video in here, and we want to right click on the video first thing always, and we want to go to properties, and we want to disable that resample. That will help us a bunch. You always want to disable resample. If you're not disabling resampling, then you're one step behind. So always make sure to do that. And then what we'll do next is we'll go to video FX. And this is going to help us a lot as well. Where is that? Here. Sharpen. Here it is. We'll throw a sharpen filter on it. And the trick is with the sharpen is you don't want too much of it. And what it's going to do is, you remember how we turned down the sharpen filter inside of Arma 3 itself? Well, what this is going to do is it's going to add a little bit of a filter, but only it's going to be through Vegas. And you want 0.100 is a really super good amount for it. And you'll see a difference here when I press enter, probably on the preview screen. I don't know if you guys seen that difference. It was pretty drastic difference, and I'll show you here. If we hit this button, we can split the screen view and we can compare what it was from this time and what it was last time. So let's hit this button here. You can see here that there's a lot of blurriness, and then over here it's so clear. Now this is the sharpen filter with the sharpen filter, and this is without the sharpen filter. So let's hit it again and look at that difference. That is a crazy difference. So you can see what the sharpen filter did for us there. It helped clear up a lot of the blurriness. So that is awesome. We are ready to render now. So select all the way from the beginning to the end, and we'll go to render as. And this part is really super important. A lot of people like main concept AVC AAC. That is my favorite one right now for Arma 3. They have the Sony AVC MVC, which is also really super good. I find that the Sony AVC MVC is better for me when I have 60 FPS and 1080p. For some reason, that one just likes to encode better than the main concept. So let's go down here one more time, and there's one more worth mentioning. The Windows Media Video V11 WMV. That's also another one that people love rendering in. So I would kind of like mess around with these because each person's computer is different. So this could vary by computers. And let's see here. We're going to go to the main concept AVC AAC, and we want the Internet HD 1080p. And this is the part that's going to get kind of a little bit more tricky, because what we're going to do here is we're going to do a little bit of trickery. We're going to go here to custom frame size, and the width is going to be 2048, while the height will be 1152. Now the reason why we're doing this is we're upscaling, guys, and I don't know if you guys know this, but YouTube only allows you to have a certain amount of bitrate when you upload to YouTube. They only give you a certain amount for 1080p. They only give you a certain amount for 1440p. But the thing about it is 1080p has a maximum of 8 megabits per second bitrate or some shit like that. So it's pretty fucking low. And then you can get, if you upscale though to say 2560 by 1440p, which is my favorite, you can actually get half of that. You can double that, and that's why it's so clear, is because you're actually getting more bitrate, and it's tricking YouTube for a higher bitrate size. So this is really super awesome, guys, and I really recommend you try this out. So let's go to profile, go to high. We always want high here. for our profile, and our frame rate will be 30 just like always. And if you scroll down here, you don't see 60 FPS anywhere. That's okay. You just delete this and hit 60. Then you can go down here and look at that, 60. Ta-da, look at that. And then, but that's not what we want. We want the 30 FPS. Non-progressive scan, pixel aspect ratio 1, number of reference frames 2, use deblocking filter. Basically, deblocking filter will go in and filter out a lot of pixelation, and it's gonna make everything a lot clearer in your videos. Like, it will take out them chunky like blocks and stuff, and it will help filter those to where it's not such a pixelated mess. That's only use that though if it's actually like in your video, if you know it's gonna be in your video. Like Arma 3, I know it's gonna be in my video. So constant bitrate will be, well, this is the thing about this. This is what's so cool about this encoder, is you get all of these options. And all the other encoders stop at about 28 million. This one goes to 240 million. So you could have an extremely high file size. So just be careful about that. I like the high quality, so I use 240 million always. That is my favorite. It will give me the best picture. And then what we'll do next is you can either render using CPU only. You could go to render using OpenCFL if available, render using CUDA if available. Now, the render using CPU is great, but render using OpenCFL is faster, and so is CUDA if you can have it. You need an AMD compatible card to run OpenCFL, and you need a NVIDIA graphics card to you can render by using CUDA. And the way you'll find this out is, I do have CUDA available, I know that. You'll go to System and check GPU, and right there it says CUDA is available. Next, the project settings, video rendering quality. A lot of people like to go to best. This isn't really necessary, because if you use project settings, you're using the settings that you just made, like that are on your template. So just use project settings. And then color space, I think there is some people that do other color spacings, but I don't. Leave it at default. I wouldn't recommend doing any other. And then you're pretty much good to go. Okay, and now we can render. Okay, we're going to do a new one now, and this is for the 2560 by 1440. If any of you guys are wondering or wanting to do a 1440p video like I like. These are my favorites. I feel like they upload the best on YouTube, so we'll put 2560 as the width and 1440 as the height. We want all this the same, 32-bit, best, Gaussian, none. All this is looking good. Get that in there. Import the same video that we just had. And always we want to disable the resample and add another little bit of a, where's it at, the sharpen filter on there to make it look nice. 0.100 is necessary, I think. I think if you have any more than 0.100, you might be testing your luck. And if you have any less than that, it might be looking shittier. So that's a really good average right there, I feel, is 0.100. Okay, it's time to render this thing. So let's go to render as, main concept, same one, and then find your 1080p video. There it is, Internet HD 1080p. And you will want to do the same thing for here, but only we're going to do 2560 by 1440. We're going to go to our main here, our profile, go to high, 30 FPS, just like we did last time. Constant bitrate. And I hope you guys start understanding this, how this works, because at first I was completely confused. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. 240 million, use deblocking filter, render using we already went through this. I have CUDA, audio, system, use project settings. Yep, we're all good to go. So that's how you would render it, and then you just go render like this. And here you would go, this timer would wait, and it takes a while. But once this is rendered out, it looks really nice. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope these settings work out for you if you do decide to use them. And if not, I'm really sorry. I can't, I kind of have to make a disclaimer actually, because it doesn't probably work for everybody. But if you have a pretty beefy computer and you think you can render with pretty high settings, I would recommend going with these settings and trying them out and seeing what you think, because they're by far my favorite setting for Arma 3, and it's shitty compression that YouTube fucks it up. And I really hope you guys understand YouTube and how its compression works, because if you don't, it's kind of hard to understand everything. The codecs are all different, and I still don't even know exactly how they work. But anyways, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and make sure to leave a subscription down below if you want to see more videos like this one in the future. Catch you later, guys.